Have you ever been compared to others by your parents, grandparents, or people around you? Maybe it was about grades at school, behavior, or achievements. And over time, without even noticing, that habit of comparison took root in your own mind. The truth is, your family probably wanted the best for you. They thought comparing you with others would motivate you. But in reality, this constant comparison has been silently hurting you. You feel more negative, more insecure, and smaller day by day. You only see your flaws, never your strengths. You feel unhappy, as if you're constantly behind in life. You feel drained, exhausted, simply because you're always comparing yourself and always coming up short. This video is going to peel back the layers of this issue, help you understand what's really happening inside your mind, and give you a way to shift your perspective so you can live more positively, more confidently, and more joyfully. Why we compare ourselves to others. 1. Childhood conditioning. Let's start by asking, why do we even compare ourselves in the first place? If you think about it, comparison seems almost automatic. You see someone doing well, and immediately you measure yourself against them. Someone gets a promotion. You ask why you're still stuck. One of the big reasons is the way we were raised. Many of us grew up in environments where comparison was used as a tool. Parents or teachers would point to the good example, hoping that we'd work harder. The problem is, when comparison becomes a habit, it doesn't inspire us. It eats away at our sense of worth. Instead of hearing, "You can improve," what we internalize is, "You're not enough." That becomes the voice that follows us into adulthood. 2. Lack of inner value. Inner value means having a stable sense of worth that doesn't depend on external applause. It's knowing that your life has meaning, even without validation. But when you lack inner value, you measure yourself only by external markers. How much money you earn, how many likes your posts get, how many compliments you receive. The problem with this is obvious external markers are unstable. They change constantly, and there will always be someone with more. Without inner value, you're trapped in an endless comparison game you cannot win. 3. Cognitive biases. Another bias is survivorship bias. We see the winners, the success stories, the people who made it. That's what gets shared in the media. That's what gets posted online. What we don't see are the hundreds of failures, the long nights of struggle, the countless rejections. We measure our messy behind the scenes against someone else's polished highlight reel. It's not a fair comparison, but we still torture ourselves with it. 4. Social media. And of course, we cannot ignore social media. This, I believe, is the gasoline poured onto the fire. 100 years ago, you compared yourself to your neighbors, your classmates, or your colleagues. Today, you compare yourself to millions of strangers across the globe. And when you scroll, you're not just consuming images, you're consuming judgments about your own life. That constant exposure rewires your brain to believe you're always behind, always lacking. So it's not surprising that so many people, especially young people, feel inadequate, anxious, even depressed. Comparison is no longer an occasional thought. For many, it has become a constant background noise. The damage it does. 1. Loss of confidence. Living with this habit of comparison has real consequences. The first is loss of confidence. The more you compare, the more you find yourself lacking. No matter how much you achieve, there's always someone higher. Instead of feeling proud, you feel small. Confidence gets chipped away until you stop believing in your own abilities. 2. Loss of energy. The second is loss of energy. Comparison drains you. It takes the little energy you have and wastes it on resentment, jealousy, or sadness. Instead of focusing on growth, Your mental energy gets spent on replaying how others are better. 3. Loss of creativity. Then comes loss of creativity. When you're stuck in comparison, you're paralyzed by fear of judgment. You're afraid to try something new because you already believe it won't measure up. You censor yourself before you even begin. 4. Emotional damage. And perhaps the deepest wound is emotional. Constant comparison feeds anxiety and depression. You begin to feel that nothing you do matters, that you'll never catch up, that life is unfair. Instead of seeing possibilities, you only see walls. 5. Broken relationships. Even relationships suffer. Instead of celebrating the success of your friends, you see them as rivals. Instead of feeling happy for a colleague's win, you feel threatened. Jealousy poisons what could have been genuine connections. Some people even go further. They actually wish for others to fail, to stumble, to face hardship, just so they can taste a fleeting, bitter victory. That kind of mindset not only poisons relationships, but also poisons your own soul. How to heal from the habit of comparison. So, how do we break free? How do we stop this constant measuring, this endless scoreboard that keeps us small? 1. Awareness and naming the feeling. The first step is awareness. You cannot heal what you don't notice. The next time you feel that sting in your chest when you see someone else's success, pause. Don't bury it. Don't deny it. Simply say to yourself, I'm comparing right now. Naming the emotion reduces its power. Instead of drowning in it, you're stepping outside of it. You're saying, I see you, but you don't control me. 2. Reframe comparison into learning. From there, you can begin to shift perspective. Instead of letting comparison become a weapon against yourself, turn it into a teacher. When you see someone doing better, ask, what can I learn from them? Maybe their success reveals a gap in your skill set. Maybe it shows you a path you hadn't considered. Comparison doesn't have to be toxic. It can be fuel, but only if you use it consciously. 3. Set boundaries with social media. Another important step is to limit your exposure to toxic triggers. If social media is where your comparisons flare up the most, then you need boundaries. Unfollow or mute accounts that constantly make you feel inadequate. Set time limits. Replace endless scrolling with intentional use. Follow accounts that inspire you, not ones that make you spiral into envy. 4. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is another powerful antidote. When you practice gratitude, you train your brain to focus on what you already have, not what you lack. This isn't about ignoring ambition. It's about grounding yourself in the reality that your life is not empty. Each day, take a moment to acknowledge the small blessings. Health, relationships, simple joys. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. And when you're full, you stop obsessing over someone else's plate. 5. Compare only with your past self. And perhaps most importantly, shift the focus of your measurement. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to your past self. Ask, am I moving forward, even a little, from where I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you're already succeeding. This is the only fair comparison. Because no one else has lived your exact life, with your exact struggles, your exact challenges, the only person you need to outgrow is the version of you from yesterday. Bringing it all together, I want to be clear. Comparison will never fully disappear. It's part of being human. The goal is not to kill it completely, but to tame it, to prevent it from ruling you, to make sure it becomes a spark for growth rather than a chain around your neck. Every time you catch yourself comparing, pause, name it, shift it, reframe it, protect your mental space, practice gratitude. Let go of perfectionism. And remember, the only race that matters is the one you're running with yourself. You don't need to be better than everyone else. You don't need to be the richest, the smartest, the most successful, the most admired. You only need to be a little stronger, a little wiser, a little kinder than you were yesterday. That is enough. So the next time you feel the weight of comparison pressing down on you, remind yourself, life isn't about winning someone else's race. It's about walking your own path, at your own pace, with your own story. And that story, your story, is already worth living, without any comparison at all.